edibles, okay? You know, when I was a kid, if I wanted an edible, I would go to the Safeway parking lot in Santa Cruz, find some guy hacky-sacking all by himself. He would sell me a wet little ball that he called a goo ball. And it was good fucking luck, okay? No information, just this has weed in it and enjoy your journey. Now I go to, in Portland, man, they got every little milligram you could ever want. You know, we've got a strawberry balsamic glaze, reduction, vegan, gluten-free gummy, and we threw a little vitamin B12 in there for you. It's insane. No one likes a bad trip. I would have bad trips when I would eat those goo balls, okay? I would. Biting into this weird wet ball. You're not supposed to, I learned this in Santa Cruz, you're not supposed to say bad trip, you're supposed to say difficult trip. They don't like all the negative imagery, but let me tell you something. If I was on a bad trip and someone came to me and explained to me that it was a difficult trip, it would make my trip badder, okay? I one time had a bad trip and it was like, you get into these holes, man. I remember one time I was sitting there and I just went back into my life and I remembered this game freeze tag from 3rd grade where I had been frozen and then the bell had rang and we all went to class and no one unfroze me. And that was spinning me out, you know, I was like, I've been living a lie. I shouldn't even be moving. And then my friend, who he was also having a bad trip, he's like, we gotta get out of here. I was like, not unless someone from my 3rd grade class comes and unfreezes me. Which out of context is it's not good, you know, you don't believe it. I tell you all this because this next song by John Lennon came from a bad trip, you know, and it's a beautiful thing, you can write songs out of that. They were in Los Angeles on their last tour, they had a day off in Los Angeles. They decided to take acid, and they got this house in Beverly Hills, and you know, Paul wasn't doing it, but Ringo, John and George were into it, and they had some friends over. They had David Crosby from the Byrds was over there, dropping acid with Crosby. They had this young actor named Peter Fonda. Maybe you guys have heard of Peter Fonda. Yes, he's the brother of Jane Fonda, father of Bridget Fonda, son of Henry Fonda, and he was there, and he was bumming everyone out, okay? Sometimes when you're on your trip, you're very sensitive, you know, maybe you've been there, you're really sensitive, and little things can shoot you off, you know, like you might be just chilling and some guy just keeps talking about honey mustard, you know. And you don't like honey mustard. He just keeps talking about it, and you have to be like, look bro, I don't want to be in charge of your reality. I don't want to tell you how to live, but if you say honey mustard one more time, I'm gonna lose it. Other times, you know, it's not your fault. It's not your sensitivity. You just like are in the wrong zone. I was at Burning Man one time. I was having a good time. Ran into an old friend of mine, and he was like, John, did you know that the Lion King has a lot of imagery that predicts 9/11? I was like, gotta go. Here's the deal. So Peter Fonda was at the party, and here's the deal. This is true. When Peter Fonda was a little kid, he was playing with a gun, which is not good, and this is true. He accidentally shot himself in the stomach. It's true. And he went to the hospital, and he was on the operating table, and he claims that he died on the operating table, and they brought him back. And that's fine, but he really loved telling this story at acid parties, which is not cool. And he's sitting there, and George is kind of spinning out, and George is doing the thing like, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. And instead of Peter being cool to him, he's like, I know what it's like to be dead, bro. And he keeps saying that over and over again. I know what it's like to be dead. I know what it's like to be dead. And John overhears, he's like, yeah, can we get this guy the fuck out of here? And what happened? Oh yeah. So John kicks Peter out. John kicks Peter out, and he's walking to the door, and he's like, "Look, man, I'm sorry, but you can't. I gotta get you out of here." And Peter's like, "I understand." And as he's closing the door, John's like, "I'm gonna write a song about this. Is that okay?" Peter's like, "Yeah, man," but he's like, "I'm gonna write a song." And he keeps saying, "I know what it's like to be dead." And Peter was like, "Do you mind changing the gender just to like fuck with gender and make it she said?" John's like, "Yeah, Paul will actually like that because he's into the girl stuff. So yeah, we're gonna do that." The song's called She Said, and it's the most rockin' one I do. And let's see if we can get it. I know what it is to be sad. Yeah, she's making me feel like I've never been born. I said, who put all those things in my head? Things that make me feel like I'm made. Yeah, you're making me feel like I've never been born. She said, you don't understand what I said. I said, no, you're wrong, child. When I was a boy, everything was right. Everything was right. Oh, I said, even though you know what you know, I know that I'm ready to leave. Yeah, you're making me feel like I've never been born. To be dead, I know what it is to be sad. Yeah, she making me feel like I've never been born. She making me feel like I've never been born. Oh, you're making me feel like I've never been born.